Thank you again for joining the Washtenaw County Road Commission's virtual construction kickoff meeting. During today's kickoff, you'll get an overview of the 2025 construction season, and we'll have a few reminders followed by a Q&A portion. My name is Tiffany Oliphant, and I'm the Communications Manager for the Washtenaw County Road Commission. I'll be the meeting host today, along with our panel of experts. Joining us today is Adam Lape, Director of Operations, Brent Schlack, Director of Engineering and County Highway Engineer, and Aaron Burkholz, Assistant Director of Engineering. This meeting, audio and video is being recorded and will be posted on WCRoads.org in a few days. After the presentation, you'll be asked to virtually raise your hand during the Q&A session. I'll provide instructions at the time when it's time for that to happen during the presentation. The chat feature for this meeting is turned on, and if you have questions during the presentation, feel free to ask it in the chat and we'll address it during the Q&A portion. And now I'll turn it over to our speakers. Aaron.
Thank you, Tiffany. Good morning to everyone. As Tiffany said, thank you for taking the time to attend this morning's meeting, our overview of the upcoming 2025 construction season. And one of the first topics I'd like to touch on would be work zone safety. Just providing some statistics here. In 2024, according to Michigan's Office of Highway Safety Planning, there were more than 6,000 work zone related crashes, and those resulted in 15 work zone fatalities and over 1,000 injuries. These crashes are not accidents. Here at the Road Commission, we're very careful to use the term crash and not accident, because accident indicates that no one could have done anything to prevent it, that it was just an accident that couldn't be avoided. The reality is these are crashes. These can be corrected through thoughtful actions on the part of the construction workers and on the part of the motorists that are driving through the construction zone. And unfortunately, what I've seen during my 20-plus year career is an increased distraction by drivers as they're driving through the zones that I've been standing in. And again, I am married. I have 3 kids, and that is my work zone. I want to go home at the end of each day. So it's of the utmost importance that those that are driving through these zones are paying attention so that I can go home and see my family at the end of each workday. Also, it is the law. And so in Michigan, it's required of drivers to be attentive, to slow down, to minimize their distractions, and to move over. And I'll say not only is it the law, but it's common courtesy. Again, I would not go into someone's office during their workday and start to create a situation where I'm distracting them or yelling or not following the rules in their office. Again, drivers, when they drive through our work zones, need to follow our rules because that is our workplace, that's our workspace. So again, just really trying to highlight the fact that we need driver cooperation in order to keep all parties safe. We do not want injuries or, heaven forbid, fatalities to occur that can affect the families of the construction workers and the drivers. So I'll go ahead and I'll turn it over to Brent to start the portion of the meeting where we're going to give an overview of the Road Commission. Go ahead, Brent.
Thanks, Aaron. That was a very important topic and one that's near and dear to all of us here at the Road Commission. Again, like Aaron said, thank you for joining us on our 2025 construction kickoff. I'll just go through a couple slides on who we are and why we choose the roads that we choose. So you can go to the next slide. Yep. So we have the road commission is responsible for just over or about 1,650 miles of county road. Of those, 740, more than 740 are unpaved. We're also responsible for 125 bridges, over 2,800 culverts, and we manage and repair over 40,000 signs. We also are a contract agency for MDOT, and we maintain just under 600 miles of MDOT routes. Those are those numbered routes, US 12, I-94, US 12, or M14, M52, M17. Those are the MDOT routes that we maintain on their behalf. So if you go to the next slide, yep. So now I'll get into how projects are selected. We have an asset management document, and actually we follow asset management practices, and this is the definition. It's the ongoing process of maintaining, preserving, upgrading, and operating physical assets cost effectively based on a continuous physical inventory and condition assessment and investment to achieve established performance goals. That is a big mouthful. Basically, we focus on preventative maintenance. If you go to the next slide, and we use a rating system called PASER. That's pavement surface evaluation and rating. It's a visual inspection that we have trained individuals here that go out and inspect our roads. Our primary road system, they inspect every year. Our local road system, local paved system, they inspect every other year. This is on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, and 1 being the poorest. We break that down into good, fair, and poor designations, and this helps us determine what preventative maintenance fix. And again, it's applying that right fix at the right time in the right place. Our whole goal is to extend the service life of a road. We use the example of changing your oil in a vehicle. So if you regularly change the oil in your vehicle, then your vehicle that service life of that vehicle tends to last a lot longer. Where if you didn't change the oil in your vehicle, then it would be a larger fix. Of course, your vehicle would start to break down, and then that would cost more money. So we want to have that right fix, whether that's a chip seal or a mill and overlay for our roadways to try and maintain that service life of our roads. So now I'll pass it over to Adam, and then he'll kind of get into some of our construction projects.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Brent. Talk really quick here for the 2025 season. I'll kind of lay some groundwork here, and then we'll really get into talking about the projects here and types of projects we are going to perform this year. So as typical, you probably recognize throughout the county, same thing's going to go for 2025. Our type of projects, we're going to start with preservation type of projects. This really involves preserving and protecting the existing surface. Then comes to a point of resurfacing. This is replacing the surface of the traffic drive on. And then reconstruction, which is removing and replacing the base and the surface material of the road. So think of it basically the stones underneath the pavement. Then we do have some bridge projects. It's maintenance and replacement type work that we'll do each season. And then we have safety projects to improve safety characteristics of our road segments throughout the county. And those vary. We'll touch a little bit on this here. And if someone has a specific question to segment road, we can talk through the chat as well. And then some other miscellaneous projects throughout the county. And then for our preservation purpose, that's really good for fair condition road surface that Brent was referring to. We have 2 primary processes to take care of our roads in the preservation stand, and that is crack sealing and seal coat. So that's the chip and the fog seal that you'll see us perform. And I will go to the next slides and kind of talk a little bit more specific about each. So crack sealing is the process of dropping an adhesive sealant down into the crack. So if you look in the middle of the screen, there's a bit of black there in between a crack. And our goal is to mainly fill that void. And it's basically material that will keep the water from infiltrating and getting to that base that you see in the second line of your screen there, where that's where a pothole will really begin. And then our seal coat process is really similar to that, but it seals the entire surface of the road. This is really essentially a waterproofer. We've referred to it before as sunscreen. You really want to protect yourself when you go outside. Same thing as putting a new roof on a house. you really want to protect yourself from inevitably the elements, which elements that affect our roads, mainly water, and then the sun itself will degrade the road over the course of time. So we'll spread the material, and we'll show a few pictures here in a moment. We spread a liquid binder material, which is a sealer. That's the black material, see in your picture there. And then we actually have a unit, this is the yellow unit in the picture, that spreads stone, spreads aggregate on the road, and actually provides a little bit of traction. It doesn't add any structural integrity. All it does is provide that traction, that wearing surface for the road, because that sealer would be slippery if not. And then later in the season, we come back, and you've seen this probably before throughout our county. We refer to fog sealing as putting that top sealer coat on top of that aggregate we just put in on the seal coat program, the chip stone. What that does, it's an additional layer of sealant, and it also gives that black look to the road. So what it helps us in is when it comes to striping the roadways, our lines are more vibrant, so they pop essentially, easier to see at night. So that's kind of part of this process, but the basis for it is actually more protection to the road and more waterproofing. And then during fog seal, you'll see what we have here in the picture is what referred to as a pilot car. We'll send those units out where we have busier segments of road that we're going to seal. And essentially, we just need traffic to follow us. It's very simplistic. We'll keep it simplified for traffic to follow us right through the zone and which side of the road they need to be on, and then we'll direct you accordingly. And now I'm going to touch back. We've been talking resurfacing. Now we're going to get a little more in depth with resurfacing here beyond the preservation side with Aaron Burkholz.
Thank you, Adam. So again, going back to what Brent had talked about earlier, that we use a mix of fixes to manage our road assets. And so depending upon the condition of the road, that dictates the work that we can do. And so for resurfacing of a road, two of the methods that we'll use with an asphalt road would be to mill and resurface that asphalt road. That would be for roads that are in fair condition. So if the road is in fair condition, it hasn't deteriorated too far, we're able to mill and resurface. If the road has further deteriorated and it's in poor condition, then we get into more of a pulverization of the existing road and then paving that road, putting new asphalt on top of that pulverized base material. And then the third type of resurfacing that we commonly undertake would be putting down a lift of limestone or gravel on an unpaved road. And Adam will talk a little bit more about that, but I'll go ahead and I'll give a little review first here of the mill and resurface process. So here's an example of what milling is. Essentially, milling is going down to a relatively shallow depth, typically, and removing the top 1.5 or 2 inches of asphalt pavement on a road. There's a large mill machine that comes out, and it's got and there's the picture of it. And so what that machine contains is like a rototiller, is what I'll refer to it as. And so you can kind of picture that rotary drum with teeth on it is inside that machine. It's underneath in the middle of the machine, and it's grinding up that pavement surface, that 1.5 or 2 inches, and then it's pushing it up a conveyor and into a truck. And just to offer a point of interest is, oftentimes that material that's going into that truck, that ground asphalt, is then taken to an asphalt production plant and it's reintroduced into new asphalt. And so we refer to that as recycled asphalt pavement, RAP. And so basically there's a component, a certain percentage of new asphalt that goes down that actually contains the old asphalt that's been milled up off the road. Next slide. And then I mentioned that if the road is in poor condition, we get into a pulverization and resurfacing. So the pulverizer sometimes can look like the mill machine, but it operates a little bit differently. The drum under the machine actually turns the opposite direction. So on a mill machine, the drum underneath with the teeth turns clockwise. On a pulverizing machine, it turns counterclockwise. And that's because we want to keep that material that's being crushed under the machine. And here's an example of what that machine looks like. And you can see there's no conveyor on this machine. The material's not being pushed up a conveyor into a truck. It's remaining under the machine. It's being crushed and being blended. And so you're taking that existing poor asphalt surface on the road and you're blending that with the underlying base aggregate and then creating this homogeneous mix of material. And then that material is spread out, it's compacted, and then we actually apply a new asphalt surface to that. So this would be an example. This actually is a mill and resurface project. You can see the milled surface in that picture. And then they're coming through with the new asphalt pavement. And something to note is that asphalt is very hot. For people that may be in the area, it's important anybody like a pedestrian or a bicyclist, someone with a dog or small children, stay away from that asphalt because it's typically between 275 and 300 degrees when it's being placed. And for motorists, it's important that they follow the direction being given by the traffic regulators, also known as flaggers on site, because you don't want to drive through asphalt that's just been placed. Because you can imagine if you drive your rubber tires through asphalt that's 275 degrees, generally that's not good for your tires, and it's also not any good for our new asphalt. So I'll go ahead and I'll turn it back over to Adam, and he's going to talk a little bit about our gravel and limestone resurfacing projects.
Thanks, Aaron. So yes, same thing as the paved hard surface roads, our soft surfaces throughout the county, they also benefit from resurfacing as well. So we do a lot of this also with the local road program. So a lot of the townships partner with us throughout the county and we spread this aggregate and compact it in. So what you see here in the picture is one of our vendors spreading the stone for us, and then our crew will actually grade it out and shape it with a road grader. And then once it's to a point where we feel that it's fit and matches the crown of the road, and that's really the shape to really shed the water off the road, then we compact that with one of our steel drum roller units. We do all that work in-house with the exception of the vendors bringing us the material itself for the aggregate. We'll continue that on through the season, likely into October, November, and then we'll start back again in the spring at each season. So it's a very important part of the process, but like I say, the soft surface roads certainly do benefit to that. I believe Aaron's going to talk a little bit more about resurfacing and what we're doing in actual 2025 now.
Yep, thank you, Adam. So again, I'd like to say that the Road Commission is resurfacing our part of the planet here in Washtenaw County. We're going to asphalt pave approximately 27 miles of county road. We're going to place on either a limestone or a gravel resurface, a lift of limestone or gravel to the tune of about 7.2 miles of county road. And then Adam and our operations team working on chip seal, they're going to chip seal and create that chip seal surface that Adam talked about earlier on 49 miles of county road. So a great deal of resurfacing will be done in this construction season of 2025. There's a variety of sources of revenue to accomplish this work. And so we work as a team here at the Road Commission to secure federal funding, and that's typically project specific. So we're identifying specific projects on which those federal funds would be used. And then also the biggest part of the budget, the biggest part of our revenue here at the Road Commission is generated by state fuel taxes, registration fees, and then also we're very fortunate to have a county road millage. And we really appreciate the continued support of the voters of Washtenaw County in affording us that opportunity to take that millage money and invest that directly into our annual resurfacing program. We also have great partners at the township level, and townships are not required to contribute to road projects. But the reality is, particularly on local county roads, unless townships are able and willing to contribute, we can't make improvements. And so, again, we can't speak enough about how much we appreciate our township partners in accomplishing our good work each year. This is just an example The next couple slides are just examples of the work that we're going to do this year. Again, you can see the list here. I don't need to read through all of them. I will mention 7 Mile Road in Northfield Township. We've actually already accomplished that project. It's complete. And so we have, again, an entire list of roads that we're going to be working on. Some of them are mill and resurface. Some are the pulverizing and paving, and then some are the limestone resurfacing that Adam talked about. I'll mention that some of these roads have higher traffic volumes. An example would be Clark Road and Huron River Drive. Again, that's in the vicinity of St. Joe's Hospital. And I'm dating myself. I believe it's called Trinity Health now. But again, that's a very busy section of Clark Road and Huron River Drive. We're going to do a mill and resurface. With a mill and resurface project, we can maintain traffic. So we can, have traffic run in the adjacent lane and control that with flaggers while we're working in a closed lane. With a pulverization and overlay project, an example of that would be Nixon Road. Nixon Road, again, the condition of that from M14 north up to Pontiac Trail is in such poor condition, we have to pulverize that road. And to pulverize and shape that material and compact it and prepare it for the paving, we have to close the road. Now, we would maintain the road for local traffic. Like, for instance, there are some subdivisions along that section of Nixon Road. But again, we would have to limit the traffic to just the local traffic. The people that live within that, we would maintain it for like garbage pickup and for delivery. But again, there are some differences here between the closure and then the lane closure, depending on the scope of work we're doing. The best way for the public to really identify specific information on any of these projects that we're going to work on is to reference the Road Commission website. And you can find a map on the Road Commission website. It's going to include all of our resurfacing projects as well as other projects that we're performing this season. And you can just click on the section of road that you're interested in. And so again, to get into the details of like what the traffic impacts are or the specific scope of work that's going to be done, the best way for stakeholders, for the motorists, for bicyclists, for our officials that we work with to know what's going on is to refer to the Road Commission website. That's also going to provide a point of contact because we have specific project managers here at the Road Commission that oversee the work on individual projects. I'll also mention that, and Brent had brought this up earlier, that we the Road Commission holds jurisdiction over 125 bridges countywide. And so a bridge is defined as anything that has a span of 20 feet or more. So again, this is an example of the Dixboro Road Bridge that spans over the Huron River, the railroad, and the access drive to the City of Ann Arbor wastewater treatment plant over on the east side of Ann Arbor. And so if you look between the far ends of the bridge and you measure that, this bridge just off the top of my head, I think is 582 feet. So this is an extreme example of a very long bridge. The vast majority of the bridges that we own are more in the realm of, I'll say, 20 feet to like 100 feet in span. Anything that's less than 20 feet, we refer to as a culvert. So that culvert, typically they're smaller structures. Again, they're under 20 feet. A lot of times they're pipe culverts, and that's the example that's shown here. And we own 2,800 plus culverts throughout the county. They're in varying sizes, they're of various condition. And so we inspect our culverts, and that would be anything that's 5 feet or greater. We inspect those at least every 4 years. If a culvert is in poor condition, especially if a culvert has a weight restriction on it, we increase that. We actually inspect that on a yearly basis just to make sure we're monitoring the condition of that deteriorated structure. We have a lot of culvert replacements in this year's program. So a big part of the culvert replacement program has been afforded to us by working with our township partners and us working with the road commission and the townships working with the water resources office. Because water resources was provided funding through the county board in order to undertake stormwater improvements. And replacing a county road culvert does enhance stormwater quality. And so this shows an entire list. And again, these are just some of the projects, the culvert replacements that we're going to undertake this year. And again, a great resource for the public, for our stakeholders, is to reference the Road Commission website. And you can look at the map, and it's going to provide specific information on a given culvert project. Again, what's the scope of work? Does it require a road closure? Who's the project manager that you can contact here at the Road Commission? And so you can see we have culvert projects throughout the county this season that we've identified that we intend to undertake and complete. So I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Brent, and he's going to talk specifically about some traffic and safety related topics.
Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, so we also have projects within our traffic and safety group. These projects would include any new signals or upgrading signals to modernize them, or install flashing beacons or rapid flashing beacons for maybe a mid-block crossing. And these, again, like Aaron had stated, are funded from a variety of sources, whether they're federal aid or through our Michigan transportation funds or state fuel taxes and registration fees, or the county millage, or with some of our township partners. What you have here is a list of projects that we're working on. Some have been completed this year, like 6 Mile and Curry was a flashing beacon we had installed, and Bemis and Marlow, we worked with Augusta and Ypsilanti Township to have a rapid flashing beacon installed. One project that will be upcoming is a new traffic signal at Parker and Shield. That's in Lodi and Scioto Township. We also, like I had indicated earlier, modernize our signal system. And you can see a lot of our signals are on the eastern side of our county. And we have about 30 signals that we're modernizing. These would be through a federal aid project, through congestion mitigation and air quality. And there's a long list of along those corridors that we're looking at those, modernizing those signals. We also have safety projects that we perform here at the Road Commission. And those were our maybe locations that we've continued to monitor for improvements. We're looking at center left turn lanes to help move those people out of the flow of traffic to make their turning movement. We also have enhanced pavement markings and signage. And those can be from a variety of sources, whether that's local funds or federal aid. If you can go to the next slide. Yep. We also upgrade and repair guardrail within the traffic and safety group. So those locations where we need new guardrail or that we need to modernize that guardrail. And then unfortunately, we do have locations that do get hit that we have to repair. So we manage that contract with a contractor. We also have a traffic management program here, our NTMP, which looks at traffic calming, and mainly those installed speed humps within certain areas that qualify. Foster Ave has gone through that process, and they'll be getting here speed humps here soon. One area that is a big program for us is our pavement marking program. This is where we install over 6 million feet of long line pavement marking. That would be our white and yellow markings. And some of that is retrace. Some of that is on those chip sealed roads where we need to repaint those lines. We also have our special markings, which are our stop bars, turn arrows, crosswalks, railroad markings, the green paint for those non-motorized lanes, those bike lanes. So we look to improve those locations. So now I'll turn it back over to Adam, and he'll kind of get into some of our road maintenance.
Thanks, Brent. Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about maintenance here that we perform quite often here throughout the county, and then also we'll talk a little bit how we schedule that maintenance. So a lot of it is as needed, and that's in response to field information and current conditions that we receive through staff, constituent calls, and then also our WCRC fix-it requests. And that varies from puddle patching, just general maintenance, drainage, grading the soft surface roads, and then weather events do routinely require our staff to clean up debris that's impacting traffic and blocking roadways potentially. And then road hazard removal, some of the unfortunate things that you see through Mother Nature with animal carcasses or some debris that falls out of vehicles, things that we have to address routinely throughout day-to-day activities. And then even as probably some of you probably saw this morning with the freeway system, we do have quite a bit of incident response responsibility from our staff level. So we responded to some crash incidents this morning. And then we also, part of our traffic and safety team out of the engineering department, they also have staff that repair our signs and perform our signal work throughout the county. And here's a picture of road grading. So this is very near and dear to most people in the county with over 600 miles of unpaved road. This is definitely something that you see and you come across. So here's a little bit of our process here. This is one of our 11 road graders out grading a road. We refer to this as scraping. So we scrape the road, kind of collect any excess material that's been pushed off the edge of the road and build that little bit of a windrow. And that's the amount of material off the left side of that grader unit there. And then we'll scrape the other side of the road and basically start to build that crown back up that I referred to a little earlier. And then we smooth that out and then essentially apply dust suppression to it that you'll see. And that's kind of our dust control or the brine that you may hear us talk about. And as we jump into this next slide, you'll see that that's still that scheduled maintenance. That's what we work forward with. The dust control program kind of rules and pushes most things forward and schedules a lot of our other maintenance because we want our roads to be as solid as they can be and prevent that fugitive dust. And then on top of that, as you reach yourself out to the edge of the road, we perform a roadside mowing. And then also just a quick reference to some of the paved surfaces throughout the county. We do sweep twice throughout the season, the curbed areas, and some townships partner with us for a third supplemental sweeping. And so we will move to the next one here and talk a little bit about scheduling. So we typically work mid-April through mid-November, what we consider a construction season. Obviously, we're subject to some environmental restrictions and just weather in general. As you see, this week has been a little bit unseasonably cool, so we've had to adjust some of our progress and some of our processes with the project specifically. So we've kind of downshifted a little bit to let that warmth come back. We do need dry conditions for the most part, and we also do need some generally decent warm weather to continue some of our work. Off-season projects are typically possible, but those are usually in preparatory work for another project or their emergency basis because it's very challenging to work when it's cold. And then obviously snow-covered surfaces, we can't quite get our equipment in there and do that work. And then one environmental restriction I have to note is we are restricted sometimes through some of the bat roosting, fish spawning, mussel spawning, and some of the oak wilt. So we try to be considerate of that, but it does affect some of our schedules. That's why sometimes you see us do drainage work mid-season and a little bit of a drier time after July. And that's a really basis on that environmental impact that we try not to cause. Very weather dependent. Just like I noted, our seal coat program, we ran a little bit yesterday, but we had to stop and pause today. There's just too much humidity and moisture present. And it is a bit complicated as we schedule. We do have a lot of moving parts and a lot of responsibilities that should be considered. We do have a responsibility to MDOT. So we have to make sure that we're not affecting their traffic by our traffic that we consider or create through a roadwork zone. And then as the environmental considerations that I noted on, utilities do impact our work from time to time. So we have to work on relocation and then really just coordinating with other projects, whether it be an MDOT project or another internal county project. And then inevitably we have to find that specialized equipment to conduct that work that we have. And final part here before I hand it off to Tiffany, this really is that reminder. Aaron and I talk about this quite a bit in all our presentations. But it is serious to us and it matters to us. If the road's closed and we do have the signage and the cones, or there's a vehicle there blocking with our flashing work lights on, it really does mean it's closed. There could be danger behind it. There could be something going on. There could have been a catastrophic failure with the road. It's very important that you abide by those guidelines that we set in place to try to maintain everybody's safety, including our crew's safety. So now I'll provide Tiffany an opportunity to speak a little bit on construction communications.
Thank you, Adam. And thank you, Brent and Burke. Now I'm going to kind of go over here. The WCRCroads.org and how you on our website, which is WCRCroads.org, and what you can find on our website, that it's very robust, and how we can find various things from our construction projects to the weekly roadwork schedule, our township pages, and you can subscribe to your road updates. Here, I'm going to come out of the presentation and I'm going to now share my screen. So this is the website, wcroads.org. And then as you're navigating the website, here at roadwork and construction, you click on that and then it goes to a drop down and you go on current projects. And here you can find all the information about our projects. This video will be located here in the next coming days. I just want to give you an update. It will be here. So now this is an interactive map. And so you can actually click on each road segment and it can tell you what's being done. It's a mill and overlay. It's on Dexter Chelsea Road. So these are interactive, these different road segments. Now you scroll down. Of course, you can move in and out the map. You scroll down. And here are various project cards. So they'll tell you what's going on there. So we've actually streamlined this for countywide. So we have our resurfacing project. And so here you will find all the roads that will be resurfaced, from what Burke was saying, from your mill and resurfacing to your limestone resurfacing to your pulverized and resurfacing. So you'll have all of these. And once you click on one of those, they'll have all the information from the funding to the road impacts to the map, obviously, of where it's located, the township it's located in, the contact. We've had virtual public meetings there, and you can actually subscribe to project updates here at the corner. And you can put in your email address and your name and your zip code, click on your townships that you want information on. And then here you can click on your advisories and weekly roadwork schedule. I'll go through that. And then here are the project updates as far as projects that you want information on. We update this every construction season. So these are always updated. And we'll go back. And here the weekly roadwork schedule. This is a very important tool. We update this every Thursday. So this is a list of all the weekly roadwork that's going on from your townships. And you put this by alphabetical order, or however you would like to see it, view it. And it's about alphabetical order by township. And you'll see the work that's being done and then the traffic impact and the contact. The contacts are right here. So if you want more information on this particular project, this is the contact you contact, and they will be able to update you on all things regarding this particular project. So now, and then we want to tell you, we also have a township page. And so the township pages also are broken down by each township and what's going on in the townships. This is an important tool, so you can actually click on what's going on in your township, and you can see that, and you can see our local road agreements and what's going on and how things are done with and our partnerships with the townships. And we put a link to the township website. So it's all a partnership. So we just want to show you that all of our tools and everything that's going on our website. If you have anything you would like to see, you just let us know. I'm going to go back into our presentation now. So now if you're viewing this meeting on your computer, you can raise your hand by clicking the reaction or participation button at the bottom on your screen, and then raise your hand. If you dialed into the meeting from your phone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. As the meeting host, I will unmute participants with raised hands one at a time. I will announce your username or your last 4 digits of your phone when it is your turn to speak. We just ask that everyone give we want to answer your questions, but we just want to make sure we're respectful of everyone's time. And now we'll begin taking questions. Does anyone have any questions? If you want to raise your hand. Oh, I do have some questions. 1 second. I will get to you in 1 second. Okay, I'm going to ask Joseph to unmute. Go ahead, Joseph.
Thank you, Tiffany. I am a resident of Augusta on Bemis Road, and just a couple of questions related. So first is that I believe in recent days or weeks, on Willis Road, I believe it is west of Stony Creek, east of Stony Creek, there was a no truck traffic, I think, sign posted. It's my understanding it's due to a crumbling or weakening culvert that has not yet been slated for repair or indeterminate whether it will be slated for repair. And can you let me know, firstly, if that means that the truck traffic will then flow on Bemis going forward until further notice? That's my first question.
Thank you, Joseph, for the question. Again, if I understand you correctly, it's related to a sign that was put up on Willis Road near Stony Creek, and we have a couple of different types of signs that are put up. One sign would be related to that topic I talked about, bridges and culverts. When a bridge or a culvert deteriorates structurally, at a point, there has to be a weight limit established on that structure. And so typically there are two different types of weight limits that are established. One is called a 3-unit weight restriction, and that's where there's a sign that shows a 1-unit truck, a 2-unit truck, and a 3-unit truck. And each one of those is assigned a certain weight limit depending on the configuration of the truck. And then there's one that we refer to as a flat weight limit, where it's a single unit weight limit. It applies to all vehicles that can't exceed the weight on that sign. And then there are signs that we put up that are no through trucks. Sometimes roads are established by the road commission that are no through trucks, and sometimes they're established by the township. In regards to no through truck routes, townships and the road commission both have the ability to establish no through trucks. And so, again, for that specific sign, I'm honestly uncertain whether or not it's a weight restriction on a structure or it's a sign that went up to establish a no through truck route. Could you give a little bit more information on that, Joseph?
I appreciate it, Aaron. I can't.
Okay.
Just we're a pretty tight neighborhood down here. A few of us on Bemis, and we compare notes and so forth. And then once we notice like a significant amount of truck traffic happening ahead of the work underway now, one of them had said that they saw a newly posted sign, and he didn't give me the context
Okay.
of this. So I apologize.
No, not at all. Not at all. And if it'd be okay, if you could provide Tiffany with your contact information, we can certainly follow up. I can follow up and make sure that I get the context of that sign that was put up, and then I can respond to you.
That means a lot. My second brief question is this. So the paving that will happen on Bemis Road this year,
Yes.
already, I think, as a dirt road by state law, it has like, unless posted, it's 55 miles an hour. And I can tell you with that, I think it's calcium chloride you put down there, gets really hard packed in the summer, and mostly residents in the Green Farms sub break land speed records regularly. I mean, we're talking cooking 70s plus, and there's probably about 10 children on this road. We have Hewins Creek Park that we use, and I would submit to you that once it's paved, I think those land speed records will be shattered. Can you educate me on what the plan is in terms of speed control, possibility of speed bumps. I'm guessing that's not possible. And then parking for Hewens Creek Park. Is that something that happens post facto? Like, is there a study that happens after, or is there is there something known, I guess, already with respect to the speed limits and parking for Hewens ahead of time?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that one. So it's currently an unposted condition based on the soft surface roadway. It would remain unposted, which is up to 55 miles an hour based on conditions. And then we like it to sit for a period of time for people to adjust to that. And then we'll go out and evaluate it and then determine if we need to engage with the Michigan State Police to further see if we need to establish a speed limit less than the unposting condition. I would highly recommend that if there are those that are, not abiding by that unposted, to contact the local law enforcement to try and patrol that area. Whenever we evaluate, and the sign is only as good as those that abide by it. And but we would do a full evaluation, most likely 6 months afterwards, to determine if another speed limit should be established. As far as the parking, again, that would be a reactive. We would determine based on if the lot is not big enough, work with the township to see, what the options are there, or potentially restricting parking along that frontage. So we would determine what that lot looks like after the project is complete.
Okay, so there's no, right now what they do is park along the property of the of the park, and that area is all going to be ditched, probably going right to that sign perimeter. So there will be no parking, and I think it's like a 3 vehicle tops 4 vehicle lot. So I just,
Yeah, we would have to work with the township to determine what the options are for that lot. If I know we've gotten that complaint before with those parking outside of that lot, but we'd have to evaluate that once we complete our project. And certainly if a vehicle is parked within the traveled way, that vehicle can be cited regardless if there's a sign or not.
Okay, well, I want to get to another question because we have to get off of here in about, a few minutes. So thank you, Joseph. We appreciate you.
thank you for your diplomacy. Really appreciate it.
Yes, yes. Anne, I want to take your question. I'm going to ask you to unmute.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for this information. It's been really helpful. And I've talked with some of you about the area in which I live. I'm in Ann Arbor Township on Warren Road. And Warren Road has recently been designated as a natural beauty road. And in the meantime, I and my neighbors have just noticed kind of an uptick in high-speed traffic, and also more maintenance. And I know some maintenance from the road commission is coming soon on Warren Road and other rural roads like it in the township, like Ford Road, I believe. And so what I've observed, especially like in front of my house and other areas, is a widening of the road, which seems to enable that high-speed traffic. And so as you continue to do maintenance and knowing that roads like Warren are designated as natural beauty roads, I'm just wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you are maintaining the roads, which I know is an important thing to do, without over maintaining them, if that makes sense, and also maintaining safety for pedestrians who use roads like Warren Road.
Thanks, Ann. I'll jump on, then Brent can kind of go a little bit from the safety side of things. So maintenance wise, like we've kind of talked before, no goal to widen, but what you do see over the course of time as we maintain a road, the material will spread out and then they'll collect it back, and it spreads out again, they collect it back. And you'll see when they spread the material on the road segments throughout the township this year, it'll be narrower from the initial viewpoint. And then as it degrades, it kind of settles out and spreads out. That's why our crews kind of do that grading like we referred to in and pull it back in. And then I'll touch generally on maintenance is just performed throughout the season, as needed, as required, which we've kind of discussed before, and then match that with the dust suppression, and then really on what type of seasonal need we have. If it's very wet, let's say this weather we're having right now, this trend continues, which I hope it doesn't, but let's say the trend continues for the next 3 or 4 weeks, our crew would just scrape the road, grade the road, and then continue on. Let's say if it was 95 degrees and very sunny, very dry, very windy, we'd apply that dust suppression that we've talked about. So there's kind of that general maintenance. But yeah, no intentions to widen the roads out any further than what they are. But we do obviously mow them, trim the trees when we can, whether it be natural beauty road or just traditional unpaved road. And then safety wise, and then I'll hand it to Brent. Safety wise out there is specific to when we do scrape the road. I do know there are walkers out there and cyclists that enjoy that segment. So in all honesty, that's just the crew trying to keep that road at a navigable width. But yeah, no design intentions. And then specific to the speed, that's something Brent can touch on a little bit that you guys have discussed before, but no pressing design between us or the township.
Yeah, and I just can quickly, so some of the increase in traffic you may be seeing is recently MDOT removed the bridge there in Joy Road across US 23. And so there may be additional traffic on Warren Road. I certainly would encourage you to contact local law enforcement if you're seeing behavior that's not conducive to that area. Certainly the motorist is expected to drive to conditions, and the local law enforcement set what those conditions are. So we certainly understand that people use this road and that it's a natural beauty road. We certainly appreciate the effort that took to get there. But we're not trying to do anything different to enhance those speeds or decrease the safety of that roadway.
Thank you. Thank you, Ann.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your questions. Yes. So we're going to wrap it up, but our contact information, if you have any questions, any going forward, you see that 734-761-1500. We are here. We're in our summer hours now from 6 a.m. to 4:30. If you have, we call our residents our second set of eyes. So if you see something on the road, please submit it through our WCRC Fix It request. You can find that on the WCRoads.org website. We also have an app in the App Store, and we're on all the social platforms. Please feel free to follow us and like us. We put all our updates there. And also we have our meetings. We have a hybrid board meeting. You're more than welcome to attend either of these. The hybrid board meetings are on the first and third Tuesday of the month at 1 p.m. And also the chat with the road commission. You can talk to our road commissioner from noon to 12:30 via Zoom. We're available. Actually, we're about to go into that right now. So we just want to give you that update that we're available. We're here for you. Also, we want to tell you thank you for attending our virtual public meeting for our construction season kickoff for 2025.